Her name was Mrs. Comfort Ilo, and in the small compound of Aguda Street in Surulere, everybody simply called her Mama Comfort. She wasn't anybody's biological mother. Life had denied her that, but it had given her something else instead. 3 children who weren't hers by blood, yet became hers by love. Before I continue, if you love stories that touch the heart, tap that subscribe button because this one will stay with you long after it ends. It started in 2005. Her younger sister, Patricia, died during childbirth, leaving behind a baby boy named Emeka. 2 years later, her neighbor's daughter, a teenager who got pregnant out of wedlock, dropped her newborn, Blessing, at Mama Comfort's doorstep and never came back. And then there was Tobena, her late husband's nephew, whose parents traveled abroad for greener pastures and simply forgot to send for him. 3 children, 1 woman, no husband, since Mama Comfort's own husband had passed years before any of this began. She sold pepper and tomatoes at Ojuelegba Market, waking up at 4 a.m. every single day, rain or shine, to make sure those 3 children never slept hungry. She sent them to school on days she herself skipped meals. She sewed their uniforms from old wrappers when money was tight. When Tobena broke his leg falling from a mango tree, she carried him on her back for almost 2 kilometers to the nearest clinic, crying and praying the whole way. They will remember, she used to tell her friend Ngozi, who sold beside her in the market. One day, when I am old and my legs can no longer carry me, these children will carry me. Ngozi would just smile and shake her head. Comfort, you have a good heart. I only pray the world is kind to good hearts. Years passed. The children grew. Emeka became a banker in Lekki. Blessing married a businessman and moved to Abuja. Tobena, the last one, became a small-time contractor in Lagos, driving a modest Toyota Camry that Mama Comfort was secretly proud of, as if it were her own car. She grew old the way market women grow old, quietly, her back bending a little more each year, her hands rougher from decades of counting coins and sorting tomatoes. Eventually, her legs gave up on her, just like she always joked they would. Arthritis. The doctor said she needed rest, proper food, and small daily medication. So, she called her children, not to beg, just to remind them who raised them. Emeka picked up the call but kept it short. Mama, work is mucho. I'll send something small end of month. That was in March. It was now October. Blessing said her husband's business was struggling, though her Instagram page showed a new car and a trip to Dubai just 2 weeks prior. Tobena was the hardest. When Mama Comfort visited his site office in Ikeja, dressed in her best wrapper, hoping to see his face light up like it used to when he was 6 years old and she'd bring him roasted corn, he barely looked up from his phone. Mama, you can't just come here anytime, he said, voice flat, almost embarrassed. People are watching. Please call before you come next time. She stood there, an old woman who once carried him on her back for 2 kilometers, being told she was an inconvenience. That night, she sat alone in her small room in Surulere, the same room where she used to gather all 3 children to pray before bed. She didn't cry loudly. She just sat there staring at an old photograph of the 3 of them in their school uniforms, gap teeth, and laughing. Ngozi came to check on her the next week, finding her weaker than before, her medication bottle still full because she couldn't afford to refill it. Did you call them? Ngozi asked gently. I called, but some calls, once you make them, you realize the person on the other end left a long time ago. But here's the part of this story that many wouldn't expect. Word got around the market, the way word always does in Lagos. Ngozi, quietly, without telling Mama Comfort, spoke to a young woman named Chiamaka, who sold provisions 2 stalls away. Chiamaka wasn't rich, but she remembered how Mama Comfort once gave her free pepper when she had nothing, years back when she was a struggling new trader. Chiamaka started visiting. She brought soup. She sat with Mama Comfort in the evenings listening to her stories about children who used to laugh easily before the world taught them to forget. Slowly, other market women joined, women who had received small kindnesses from Mama Comfort over the years, kindnesses she never kept count of. Mama Comfort's children never came back around. Not really. But something else grew in their place. A community of people she had touched without even realizing. People who chose to remember what her own children had chosen to forget. She often said, near the end of her days, that raising those 3 children taught her love. But it was the market women, the strangers she had helped without expecting anything back, who taught her something else entirely. That kindness doesn't disappear when it isn't returned by the people you gave it to. It simply finds its way back to you through different hands. If this story touched you, don't scroll away just yet. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and subscribe for more stories like this one. Someone out there needs to hear it today.